and then keep pushing the legs or oh, hang on. What's going on here?
Cybertron Weekly is your central hub for everything Transformers.
Hey guys, Ultra Maximus back with another Transformers review. Today we're taking a look at a new Toys R Us exclusive 5-step Mega Change Megatronus. So this is a new figure from the Transformers Robots in Disguise 2015 line, and of course he's the big bad at the end of the first season for the show. And yeah, I was really surprised to see this out on the shelf, my local Toys R Us here in Greenwood, Indiana, and I had to pick him up. He just looked too darn cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. Alright, so here we have Megatronus in package. Much like a lot of the Robots in Disguise larger figures, it is an open box figure. It is a Toys R Us exclusive. It says Transformers on the side. The Clash of the Transformers Robots in Disguise. That's kind of an interesting sub name there. I'm not sure what that means. But he is a Mega 5-step changer, I'm sorry. And it says Megatronus. There it kind of shows him transforming. There's his tank mode. Definitely pretty cool. Now I will say, this guy's really not that cheap. He's $29.99 at retail. And I mean, it's a pretty good sized figure, but I don't know if it's $29 worth of fun. This is maybe 20 bucks to me. But yeah, it is what it is. It's definitely pretty cool looking though. And I will say with the box open, I had to go through about 4 of them because a lot of the paint detail here on the chest was just real scratched up from being open face. So that silver paint does not hold up well of being open like that. So I'm not really sure if every figure's like that or they just had a bad batch at the Toys R Us. But yeah, I finally found one I liked. Definitely pretty cool. So just kind of a close-up. So he is a Toys R Us exclusive. There's the Clash of the Transformers. That's kind of interesting. There he is in box, looking all kinds of cool. His transformation. There's his tank mode. Very Shockwave to me. And Megatronus, and it's got the Decepticon logo that wraps around. Side of the package, just kind of a backup here. We get this really cool artwork. He kind of looks like a little bunny there. An evil bunny, but kind of looks like a bunny. Not exactly what he looked like on the show, but definitely pretty cool. I am digging that. And again, that Clash of the Transformers. Back, or this side, is just a larger view of that piece of art. Back of the package, very similar to what we get with all of the other Robots in Disguise figures. Robot mode, tank mode, here are the instructions. Here's how you play the game, and then we have a ton of words at the bottom. So yeah, definitely pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and get this guy out of the package and see what we think. So here we have Megatronus out of the package, and he's large. He's very large. There are things I really like about this figure and some things that I don't. Now, this is basically a giant Legends figure for all practical intents and purposes. The transformation is very, very easy. He has very, very limited articulation. His elbows do move. That's about it. He has no knee joints. The hips only, or his legs only come out this way, and that is due to transformation. So he pretty much is a brick, and he's just going to stand there. Now, he does come with 2 accessories. He's got his arm cannon, which is funny because it was mounted on this hand in the box, but on the back of the package, it actually mounts here. So I guess that's his fusion cannon, which is pretty cool. I do like that. I think that looks pretty nice. Definitely digging that. And he also comes with this piece. This is basically his little scepter he had in the show where he was going to combine both the Allspark and Unicron Spark to destroy Cybertron and Earth. If you don't know who this character is, this is not a rebuilt Megatron. It's actually Megatronus Prime, one of the fallen primes from the original primes, which is kind of cool. I like how they brought that out. They talk about this character in Transformers Prime. Megatron actually named himself after this guy, so he's actually the ancient big bad, which is pretty cool. Now, the drawback with this, there's really no good way for him to hold this scepter. You can kind of jam it up into his hand like that, but that's really about it. It's got a peg that you can actually clamp it on to his arms, but that's kind of silly. I don't particularly care for that. Yeah, I don't think they designed that very well. But overall, I mean, this is a pretty good-looking figure. The details are nice. I like the color scheme. I wish it was about half the size, honestly, because it's a little bit too big for what it is, and I think that would have probably brought the price down. He's got nothing going on in the back. In fact, he's rather flat back there, which is kind of interesting. So let's get some close-up shots and see what we think. Alright, so here we have some close-up shots of him. I like the purple and the gears on his shoulders. His chest looks nice. The head sculpt looks phenomenal. I think they did a really good job there. I like the arms, the purple, the little silver. Looks like missile caps or something in there. I think that looks really, really nice. Unfortunately, when you get to the back side of the figure, he does have some detail there, but there's just not much going on. And mounting that spear there just looks really goofy to me. But yeah, this figure pretty much, it's all about the chest and head and the shoulders. Although I think it'd be cool to see some giant Decepticon logos or something there. It just looks lacking. So here we have a look of the midsection of the bot. Again, it looks pretty good. The black, the purple, and the silver has a very Skywarp kind of look, but I mean, it works for this figure. The fusion cannon looks pretty cool. I do like that. And I like how it just pops on and off very easy. Very cool, so definitely nice there. And there's his flat little robot butt. So here's a shot of his legs and feet. Again, I like the purple and the black. I think the feet are molded pretty well. The legs do look pretty decent. I like the shape and the sculpt, and there's lots of detail on there. The problem is when you get to the back, I mean, they just go flat. There is like no detail back there, and the lack of knees and leg movement is killing me. For size comparison, here we have Megatronus next to the Warrior class Bumblebee. As you can see, he's like 3 times the height of this guy and would literally stomp the living daylights out of this character. And he really doesn't fight Bumblebee in the show that I recall. It's pretty much against the new powered up Optimus Prime. But again, I'd like to see a figure a little bit smaller than this to go better in scale with these figures. Here's the 5-step Megatronus next to the 3-step Optimus Prime. Again, very large figure. It is twice the size of this figure, and I would really like to see this closer to this size with the same transformation. That would have been a lot cooler, I think. You know, I appreciate the fact that it is a big figure, but for what it is, it's definitely, I think, a little pricey. And they do have a 5-step Optimus that's been retooled and the reformat of the Primes at the end of the season that does look pretty cool, and it does stand on equal ground with this Megatronus. And finally, here is Megatronus next to Megatron. So this is the Combiner Wars Leader Class Megatron with the upgrade kit. So he's about masterpiece scale, and as you can see, the Megatronus figure is taller than this guy, but it actually scales pretty well. It just doesn't have the detail and the complexity that a figure like this does. So transformation on this figure is relatively simple, but it's kind of a pain because of the gear mechanisms I'm not a big fan of. So the first thing that we want to do, take off his little gun piece like so. Make sure his arms are good and straight, and then you're going to lift this piece up like this, pull it forward, and then you want to spin this around, and the gear mechanisms are going to get the arms kind of, and see, this thing's such a pain. Like, it doesn't, there it goes. it doesn't like to catch these arms very well at all, and that just is really, really annoying. Then you're going to lift the legs around like this, and there are connector tabs right there that you're going to connect the legs in like that, so that they're in there. You want to push that down so it locks into place. Make sure the hands are back there. So now he's kind of in his little tank mode, and you're going to put the gun piece back on there. So there he is in tank mode. So here we have Megatronus in his tank mode, and it's okay. I mean, it's kind of an H-style tank, kind of made up sci-fi tank. It rolls okay. I like the detail of the tread up here and here, but it loses that illusion when you're looking at it from the front. We see a lot of gappage and his little robot crotch. His tank mount moves very little, but that's mainly because of transformation. The hands do get hidden from the side, which is kind of nice, but they're obviously open when you're looking at it from above. Back of the figure, just kind of there. We do have these nice little vents. That looks kind of cool. That's not too terribly bad, except we can see his head if you look closely down in there, which is kind of funny. But overall, it's an okay tank mode. It reminds me a lot of Shockwave, which is not too terribly bad. We do see the Decepticon logo there, looking pretty darn cool. Overall, I would like this mode a lot better if the transforming gears worked better. Now, as far as articulation and using this weapon piece, this thing does have the ability to move up the cannon, which is kind of weird and interesting. And he's got these little ports all over the place that you can plug this piece into, but it just looks really, really silly. He kind of looks like a helicopter with that big old spear hanging off the top. For size comparison, here we have Megatronus in his tank mode next to the 3-step changer Optimus Prime from the same toy line, and this is actually a pretty decent scale in vehicle mode. I would presume this giant science fiction tank would be enormous, and I mean, it's not too terribly bad. The 3-step really is about the length of one of Megatronus's legs, and then of course the tank barrel comes out a little farther. He's about 3 times as wide as this guy, and just a hair taller than him. So, I mean, in vehicle modes, they don't really scale that far apart, which is kind of nice. Here we have Megatronus next to a warrior class figure, Strong Arm from the first wave, and while she's a pretty good sized deluxe class figure, I mean, this thing is still monstrously big in comparison. Here we have Megatronus compared to a Combiner Wars deluxe figure. This is Breakneck, and as you can tell, this guy's a lot bigger. And finally, here we have Megatronus compared to Voyager class Transformers Age of Extinction Galvatron. And again, it's just a really big figure. So is Megatronus a figure you want in your Transformers collection? That's kind of hard to say. Number one, I think it's too expensive. $29.99 is just too much for this figure. It is basically a giant Legends figure. It has very little articulation, just in the elbows, really. The head doesn't even move, which is kind of unfortunate. That being said, I do like the color scheme. I like the sculpt. I like the design. I think it's a little bland up around the shoulders. I would have liked to see maybe some silver paint or something up here in the shoulders. And, you know, more articulation. And it's a little too big. I'd like to see it about half the size with, you know, like I said, more articulation. And I do believe they've got a figure of this guy coming out that's going to be more like that here in the future. I don't know if that's going to be a Toys R Us exclusive or not. That might be just the general retail Megatronus figure. I guess we'll see. But, yeah, I mean, unless you're a 2015 Robots in Disguise completist or a Megatron completist, this is going to be a very easy pass. Now, this figure is supposed to be designed for kids, and I'm going to say this is not a good figure for kids for the price point, because the gear mechanism to transform the thing just does not work well at all. Yeah, I thought the 3-step changer was kind of goofy with the spring step, but this one, this is going to get broke within a day of a child having, and I do not recommend buying this for a kid, unfortunately. But overall, I mean, he's going to look good standing on the shelf. If you can find this guy on sale, sure, I'd pay $20 for this. I still wouldn't give it to a kid for $20. Uh, this is like an $8 figure and expect to break it if you give it to a child. And that's just kind of bad. And it's all due to that transformation. It really reminds me of that MechTech crap, or auto formation that they had with the original Bayformer line, which I was not a fan of. So, for better or for worse, there he is, Megatronus from Transformers, Robots in Disguise.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And as always, look for more videos in the future.